Okay, so we did a load check on everything there, resetting the line lengths. All of them were okay, but we did have 3 that snapped. Now, what was the comment earlier about knots, etc.? Say you have a 100 kilogram breaking strain line and you put in a bowline, which is a very good safe knot to put in loop.
It reduces, putting a knot in the line reduces it by 40%.
At
strength.
least.
Yeah,
so a really good one, 40%.
Yeah.
So that's why they stitch these. Now, it's actually stronger where it's doubled, but there as it tails off, well, let's have a look. So has it gone where it's at the single, where the single would have gone onto the double stitch?
Yes.
Yep, okay. Yep. Now we'll have a look at the next one. Here it's gone just clear of there, and the last one, which was 6 I think, yeah, there it is. Okay, while it's gone at the other end, is it again probably near where the stitch was? Could be. As it happens, it's not. In this case, it's gone midline. Now, what's the odds? We don't know for certain, but what's the odds that might have been a tiny abrasion in that at some point in time, or kinked? We don't know. But that's where that one snapped. And yet all the other ones, there was no problem at all with the 20 kilo load.
Yep.
When you're flying, the weight range, this isn't, but say the weight range was 100 kilograms. Take a rough guess. How many line sets have we got? Was it 3, 4 normally? The 4 in this case?
Yep.
Morning! Roughly how many lines do we have across there? Sort of 10 or whatever?
Yes.
So we've got maybe 80 lines odd.
Yep.
So if you had a 100 kilo pilot, what's the normal load per line? About? What's it roughly?
8. Yeah.
Well, if you had a 100 kilo pilot and you had to say 80 lines,
Right.
what's the load per line, roughly?
Would be 8. Yeah.
100 kilos?
Yeah.
Supported by 100 lines.
The 1 kilo. Yeah.
So 100 kilos supported by 80 lines is just over a kilo load per line.
Yeah.
So the working load on a brand new glider would be for 8G continuous load or 6G shock load. So a 100 kilo glider rated for the maximum would be 800 kilograms when they test it, nothing failing. On a shock load it would be 600 kilos with nothing failing. But when you break it down to the load per line, even at that it's only sort of 5, 10, 20 kilos per line sort of thing. It's not that much.
Yes.
So when we load it up with 20 kilos, that's actually above what it should be able to support.
Yes.
Most of them was no problem at all, but we had some that failed. So did they fail at the kilo, or how much load did you think there was before it snapped? I mean, I was doing the pulling, so it's a bit unfair question, but
Yeah.
what did it look like? Was it at least the 20 kilos?
Yeah, at least the 20, yeah.
Yeah, so in practical terms for flying, it's much higher load than you'd ever have, but it shows that there was 3 of these that failed. Now, one was in a middle section. Is it likely that there could have been a wee touch of abrasion? We don't know, but you know, it seems possible. However, the other ones, did they tend to go where you had a thick area just going onto a thin area?
Yes.
Now, how stiff is the thick area? Try it.
It's relatively stiff.
So would that tend to put load? You know, if it's going to bend, you tend to see a kink there?
Yeah.
So is that reasonable to conclude that that is probably where there's going to tend to be the weakness?
Yes.
Is that also maybe why they continue the stitching on a wee bit, you know, so
Yeah.
trying to bend the load in? So I've got to order up 3 new ones, plus I've got a tiny patch to do on this, but otherwise this is the glider I was flying yesterday and you know, no real problems.
Yep.
And it would still fly like that, but it would have a distortion, it would have a tendency to turn because the 3 snap lines are on one side. But I could
Right.
fly that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't recommend it. Right, pack up. Sister's got to be providing us transport fairly shortly and hopefully head up the hills, and Duncan might be coming down, so meet him later on.